At the end,
brownie.
myself, Pam and Kim and Linda decided we needed a dessert.
That's
And we selected this brownie. They bring out this ginormous brownie, hot brownie with ice cream and
Sure, chocolate drizzle.
Nobody volunteered to.
And we were
They
all
just
worried.
take my spot.
We were all worried about Linda and her diet, but she was so good she didn't take one bite.
She didn't?
She
No.
did.
She did.
She did.
She
It was
snuck
her
it.
cheat.
She did.
Well, I was like, I ate some appetizers. I was starving. So I was like, this
Tried to
is
buy her a
not
drink.
see, I'm a cheap date. It only takes one drink. And I didn't even take that. Somebody else
Yes.
drank the other half of it.
I drank it.
Did
Oh,
you?
you did?
Yeah, there was no liquor left on the table.
I don't know how y'all do it,
Somebody
man.
else drank it.
You could
Why
bar
not?
hop around there with all the restaurants. You just keep walking
That's
from one
right,
to the
you can.
next. And so there's a hotel right there that you could stay at if you couldn't drive home.
Right?
Next time.
I mean, we know our happy hour spot now.
That's right.
That's totally I like that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Totally
those
special
restaurants
chill
are
out.
That's our place now.
Yeah.
That's
We'll
we had a
schedule the
private
next
room.
one.
That's
I
right.
was like, we had a private room.
That's right.
Happy hour was fun. Partly, sorry for the people that couldn't be there, but it was small, and we really had fun because we were just able to talk and connect in the smaller group. So, hopefully everybody can be there next time. But we enjoyed it.
Thank you.
So now we're back on customer service. I want to review where we're at because it's been a month at least, and so just to give you a perspective as to where we've been and where we're trying to go. We're going to define customer service. This is actually my interpretation of some of the stuff that we've been through. Customer service is the care that we give to our customers that come to us for a product or a service. It is the way in which we carry ourselves, present the product, interact with the person. It gives us purpose and is the reason we have our jobs. It's the reason we get paid. In our business, we're able to improve vision, which improves lives, outlook, and well-being. Our customers are not an interruption or a distraction. They are the reason that we exist. Okay, now reviewing some of the stuff that we had went through and what we had already decided. Determine it upon the image. Customer service is determined upon the image that we want to portray. It's dependent upon the type of service that we desire to offer. Okay, because if we want to be all medical or if we want to be all routine, those offer two different types of customer service. A practice down the street on 79 is very medical oriented. A practice down the street from here, which is a chain optical, is very routine oriented. I would say those probably offer very different customer services. If we're highbrow, if we want to be all rich and fancy, we can do that. But if we want to be casual and fun, we can do that. I think I know which one of those two we've chosen. If we want to be quicker, faster, junkier, if we want to be more personal, if we want to be cold and sterile and very give that impression of clean medical hospital feel. I mean, these are all things that you could do. So you really have to know who you are so that you can provide the customer service that you want. If we're not quicker, faster, junkier. If somebody wants us to emulate that, then they may not fit in to this practice. So each of these answers should elicit a different type of customer service. Therefore, we need to know what kind of product we're delivering so it can be supported relative to its design. Okay. Those are some of the things that we went over, but we never quite completed the definition. We worked in groups to define these portions that I suggest that are of customer service. Communication, consistency, cooperation, commitment to excellence. I would think that those are all a cataloged portion of customer service, and I just had you guys work on a definition. So we'll summarize those answers later on. But again, to summarize where we've been, I told you this is a group project. This is not necessarily mine. You guys are out there on the floor. If you add up all your interactions, you have way more interactions than the owner, way more interactions than any individual doctor, any individual technician. It is a group effort. So we really have to come together with a common definition and a common feeling and a common goal for the group. So you as a group need to understand our values and the type of product that we want to deliver and find a way to serve the customer every time that is consistent with our values without me necessarily saying, or the manager necessarily saying, this is the way it is. You know it. You do it because you know it. So those are what we've been through, and those are a lot of my thoughts, but then I asked the question, well, what are others saying about customer service? So some of the research that Jennifer did for me online, she found this seminar. It's by Sales Progress. It's on LinkedIn. It's a person on LinkedIn that has a company named Sales Progress, and they did a PowerPoint on 7 pillars of customer service. I'm going to give you 3. And the 3 that I picked kind of back the stuff that we've been saying. But the point is we're not making this up. It's being said elsewhere. So introduction, wowing the customer builds the organization's reputation and overall brand. Skip the next sentence and it says, it is imperative that management challenges employees and coaches them to the level beyond what they're willing to do. There's a lot on this seminar about employees not wanting to do it. I don't know if that's the perspective that I'm coming from. I'm coming from the perspective that it is the organization's reputation. It's who we are. Customer service is presenting that overall brand and not somebody else's overall brand. Okay, so the 7 pillars that they went through of customer service, 3 of them are develop a customer service mission statement. We're working on that. I wouldn't call it a mission statement, but we are working on defining what customer service means to us. A way of saying thank you to the customer, and then engaging. So number 1, develop a customer service mission statement. It says clearly convey your company's specific objectives as they relate to customer service. You should be dedicated to building an organizational perspective of what wowing the customer is truly about. I would like to hopefully say we wow our customers on being efficient, friendly, providing a really good product, a really good service. We're genuine, we give our patients, they can really trust us all the way through the process to end with as good of a result for that person as possible. And then communicate that mission statement with customers and employees. We're doing it right now with employees. And then you guys need to go out there and say, this is what we're about. And we'll have that developed. It tells you ways in which you could communicate that to employees and customers. Okay, so the next pillar, creative thank yous. The reason that I brought this up is because following these seminars, we put up a station for thank yous and or apologies. It doesn't say on that. We're not perfect. This says thank yous go a long ways. While our competitors are too busy to not write thank yous, we shouldn't be too busy to write thank yous. So while they're too busy, they're not getting that business, but if we're taking the time to do it, it will really go a long ways. I've always done it. I mean, when we set up the station, I'm like, well, I got a big thing of thank you notes right here. Let's put it here. But I think it needs to be, this is who we are. This is who we're trying to become. It needs to be projected upon you guys. I mean, I would try to make a habit I'm going to back off and say every 2 weeks, write a thank you, write a note to somebody. But in reality, there's no reason everybody couldn't do 1 a week. I don't do 1 a week, but you got to do it regularly to form a habit. So apologies, thank yous go a really long ways. And the station's set up, so I encourage you to use it. And again, I emphasize this is what somebody else is saying about customer service. Engage. So have your staff learn 3 things about clients daily. Now I've done this too. I don't know that I always do 3 things, but I have a history of doing this. On the first tab of the records section, it's actually Dr. Smith that taught me to do this, was just to write a note about the patient and what they do on the bottom. I don't know where the opticians might do that. I would hope that the technicians know where to find that, or maybe the other doctors have seen my notes from the past. But, yeah, I mean, you're not going to remember everything about everybody. But if you have a note there, Dr. Smith would be like, oh yeah, how's soccer going? Yeah. I know you like to swim. How's swimming going? And they'd be so impressed that he remembered. but he didn't remember. He just took good notes.
Yeah.
So, no knock on him that he didn't remember. I mean, kudos to him for taking good notes. We should do the same thing. I want that done, but I have asked for it, but I've never put it into a formulation. So if one of the managers or if Jennifer could follow up with finding a place to coordinate
Should we
that.
put that under personal notes?
In the record,
Yeah.
maybe in the comments or personal, correspondence, personal note.
You could put
and
that under
medical
correspondence notes, yeah.
You could do that.
I just don't know that you'll go to that page. What happens on the records page is we're always on that first tab.
Right.
Maybe in the hobbies, because there is a section for hobbies, I think in the main.
Well, hobbies
record or
give it to you.
something.
If you just go there and it's clicked water skiing, you're like, oh.
Crafting.
I see that you like,
Sewing.
have you been water skiing this summer? You're like, how do they know that?
The only thing that would be hard is to say if the patient, unless it's a patient that you saw the same day, say for instance for today, if the opticians are helping them, if you go in and you go create a new hobby thing, it's gonna create a whole new record, isn't it? Versus.
But I think
If
there's
you
some
get into the
hobbies in
records,
the,
sure.
when they fill out their demographics, I think. It might
Yeah,
be on
it's there.
I don't remember. I
Or
know
you
it's
could
in the
probably just
records.
go and edit that record and put it to the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the best way, otherwise you're gonna, if the patient comes in and all the interactions we're noting, it's gonna be way at the bottom, nobody's ever
We've
gonna
got so
read
many
that.
good patients that, you know, keep coming back and back
You
and
know
back,
all
so
about
I
your
kinda know them on a
patients.
personal
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, yeah.
That might
Well, you do,
patient
but if
thing or
somebody new
something.
comes
Yeah.
along, like, I heard that you might retire, so when somebody else, if we have an optician there that isn't seeing your patients, then if they know where to look, they could pick up right where you left off, which would be really cool. So those are some pillars of customer service. What are we up against to provide those? Just an example from this lecture, 90% of machine manufacturers said that in order to defend against low-cost competitors, a greater percentage of their revenue must come from services. Therefore, the way that they service their customers is critical to their long-term success. Well, this business is getting crazy diversified with lots of competitors coming in. I mean, if it's not online optical, it's online contact lens sales. If it's not online contact lens sales, it's online contact sales without prescriptions. And that is happening. We don't talk about that. I don't usually worry about what the others are doing too much, so we don't talk about it too much. If it's not them, it's, well, I suppose it's all the other competitors. Even Warby Parker has come in with a, you know, they were an online model, but now they're really they're a brick and mortar store. But if it's not them, I mean, Luxottica and Essel are coming together, and they own Vision Source. I mean, they're in chain optometry and they're in private practice optometry. They're advantageous to cut us out. I mean, we've decided to stay separate, and Essilor is pretty good, but Luxottica's been pretty ruthless over the years. So. I mean, there is lots of competition coming in from lots of angles. I think our business is still good. I'm not concerned about that competition particularly, but it is there. Okay, you can even do a refraction online, believe it or not. So I don't know. I'm sure it stinks, but you can do it, and there's somebody out there that would do it. But that person doesn't meet with the model of what we do. So we need to connect with the people that we are targeting. Okay, so this is just average business. The average American business loses 15% of its customer base each year. I bet that's true of us. I mean, there's turnover. I've been thinking about patients. I could name some patients that we haven't seen in a long time, and I'm like, where'd they go?
We get a lot of new too.
Oh yeah, we got it. That's good customer service where the word of mouth goes. Why are they coming in new? I would like to say it's word of mouth referral, maybe online reputation, but it's certainly probably because we had good customer service. So 68% of customers stop buying from one business and go to another will do so because of poor or indifferent service. Secondly, 82% go somewhere else because of a specific customer service issue. I believe that. In reality, people are like, this happened, it's time to move on. I'm just not gonna, I didn't like that. If they come in from somewhere else, that's oftentimes what I hear. This or that. It wasn't what I wanted. Okay, so I'm cut off a little at the top. Okay, my brother's got me reading this book, The Pumpkin Plan by Michael Michalowicz. Basically, the idea between this pumpkin plan is, well, he really wants you to grow a really productive business, like $1,000 pump or 1,000-pound pumpkin. That is one productive pumpkin stalk that the farmer takes to market and competes against the other ones. I mean, not every stalk has that ability to do it. So in order to get to that spot, you need a killer seed. You have to have a hybrid seed that can build 1,000-pound pumpkins. In order to get that seed to produce, I mean, you've got to have great soil. You've got to extensively weed that soil. You've got to water it. You've got to have the right fertilizer in that soil. I mean, because you could take that same seed and put it into junky soil and not grow a 1,000-pound pumpkin. And then finally, to get that one piece of fruit, I mean, you've got to take off all the extra stalks, all the extra flowers, all the extra leaves, so all the nutrition's going into that one pumpkin. So he thinks you are going to build just an amazing business if you focus on the customer that is that killer pumpkin seed. I mean, so what you do is you pick that customer that is a really, really good customer that gets what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You tell the employees what you're doing, and the employees tell the customers what you're doing, and you're basically synergizing, and you're on the same page. And then you have a customer that gets it and a customer that buys into that model. And when that customer buys into the model, that's the one that you want. So you protect that customer, you nurture that customer, you grow that customer, and that customer will produce for you. It'll produce majorly for the business, no doubt about that. But also that's great customer service when you're really focusing on that one customer. So, I mean, I just said our patients are the best-in-class seeds, at least the patients that get what we're doing. Our tools, like our really good glasses or really good lenses, some of our better daily disposable contacts, our equipment back here, those are probably our tools for weeding and for pruning and for making it to grow. But for voracious pruning, that goes even deeper. That certainly means cutting the ones out that are getting in the way of the customer service that you want to provide. If you've got one, let's say our company has changed the way that we do diabetic exams. And we do a routine eye exam once a year, and we do a diabetic exam once a year. Those patients are being seen twice. Laser scans on the first one, dilation on the second one. Copay on the first one, medical copay on the second one. If you have a patient that doesn't get it and doesn't want to do that, and they go on and back and forth with you, and they just don't want to do it, it's not a good match. So sometimes that patient might be a little bit better off if you show them to the door, because they can get associated with somebody that they do match with. But we believe in that quality of care, and we believe that it makes a difference in the patient's health. So when we know and believe in what we're doing, then we can deliver the services that we want, and everybody connects that way. And we after we show them to the door, then we can really focus. It's taking our energy, and we're not focusing on the customers that are getting what we're doing. I mean, we're getting the life sucked out of us, and we're not even servicing the people that are scratching our back. So I think that's a good plan. I buy into that. I buy in it from a customer service standpoint. I don't know that, I'm ready to cut out the legs on all these patients that don't get it. That's a slow process. It's a process of knowing who we are and delivering what we want to do. But it's also a process of being a little bit, I guess, slowly moving forward without, and telling patients gently and kindly that this is the way that we do it, and we'd like you to be on board, and if you're not, that's okay, but either you need to get on board, or we need to have a discussion about, you know, how you would best proceed with your care. Okay, so last session we suggested these words as adjectives to customer service. Okay. Those are my kids.
Y'all have to put on a speech.
Yeah, it's Toastmasters. The kids can give a speech. Last session, we suggested these adjectives to describe customer service. Above and beyond, talk with a smile, eye contact, extraordinary. Be friendly, listen, feel good experience, approachable, patient or customer's needs above ours. So I challenge the last bullet point. Patient or customer's needs above ours. What about the needs of the practice? Your needs as employees. I mean, you guys have serious needs too. Like, you push it over into lunch, 45 minutes, and then you got a pickup scheduled after lunch that may not meet your needs. Just as an example. So, what are the defining characteristics of our organization relative to a patient or a customer's needs? Do they align? So a customer may request a service outside of the above things. But the key is to know who we are and what we stand for. Our modus operandi becomes apparent when it aligns with our organizational goals. So as an example, a patient called on Friday to request his prescription, which was 3 years old, so he could have it filled at Costco. He told us that he had been out of a job and would not have new insurance for 90 days. I know this patient, he's a really nice guy. He's likely has been out of a job and short on money. Does releasing this 3-year-old RX align with our values? Why or why not? Should this customer's needs become before ours? We didn't release the RX, and these are the reasons that I would state. Our company values high quality care over low price and speed. We have a commitment to ensure the health of the patient's eyes. 3 years, I don't know what's going on in that eye. Our products have been selected to ensure the best outcomes. Customers are more likely to have success with our products than those that are cheaper and faster by inexperienced optical staff. I would outweigh your all's experience over somebody that I don't know really quick. If he does not align with our values, there are plenty of options out there. There's cheaper and faster, right? There's even cheaper and faster than Costco right down the street from us. Do you know where that might be, Twee?
I'm on.
Oh, we're on camera. We can't say anything. But if he doesn't align, he might be better off in that spot. So I start with it, and I think it's the right move. But there will be some times that we flex. I don't want this to be like rigid, oh, you got to make sure you align with us. The customer's needs may be placed above ours at times. These times will be defined by our values. When a customer needs or desires to cross our organizational values, we need to say no. But when a customer's unusual request does not cross the characteristics that we define as, we will do our best to service it. So in that mode, I would always say the same thing. Be kind, gentle, sympathetic, hold our values highly. This next example may not be the best example, but you'll see why. We have a certain employee who has handled this situation very well. She's typing in the back. She's been adjusting glasses for a patient almost on a weekly basis. In fact, this patient comes in twice per week.
This patient was here today.
Every adjustment is at the end of the day. Every adjustment takes 30 to 45 minutes. I also saw this patient many, many times to get the prescription just right. Contact lenses, glasses, FCC right eye, FCC left eye, NRA right eye, NRA left eye. You know why it takes me so long in an eye exam? I just keep checking it. So it would be, but I don't know. Supposedly we got the prescription right and we keep getting adjustments. It'd be easy during this interaction to tell her that we've done everything we can do and it's just time to move on. You know, I don't know. Even after today, I sat there and thought, maybe it's time to do that. I don't know. You guys can answer this.
Yes.
What value necessitates that we say that?
Well, it's not like she's ugly when she comes in. She's a very kind person, but she has definitely sucked the life out of Violet, for sure.
Well, and Violet's time and energy is a lot more valuable to us than that one person. Like, you pay Violet to do a lot of things, and
Yeah.
it's very valuable, and for someone to take an hour of her time
Yeah.
every other day, I just think it's too much, personally.
I think if they came before at a certain time, that would be fine, but you're coming at 5 o'clock, 4:45, and it's like, those doors shut. It's like us trying to go to another doctor or the mall or something, be like, sorry, I'm here. Like, I don't know.
Well, I do want to protect her. She gets bounced around a lot.
They're gonna kidnap you one
I
day.
guess what it is, you know, I like the questions at the very end of your little bullet point though, which is, you know, what is it that she actually needs or wants? Cause I don't think it's an adjustment either. And
It's
it
way
A
should be-
friend,
beyond
exactly, that's
And
exactly
a
right.
friend, right, and so it doesn't have to be Violet that gets bounced around on that, in my opinion, if that's the case.
They're
She only
BFFs
wants
now.
Violet, though.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
She's been through it.
Yeah, she's seen all of us, and, you know, latched on to, but,
You know.
yeah, that's right.
She
Well,
likes
and
you.
sometimes the orders don't get out.
Well, we all have those
Right.
patients, but this is definitely.
It's a really valid point. If it's getting the life sucked out, it's like, well, it is. It's pulling from my resources beyond a point that is reasonable.
I think if you start saying to the
We-
patient, like, you need to start coming before hours and being out, I think that alone is going to shift the patient away, because then they're not gonna be able to come in at that time. It's like, these are our hours, you know, like, we have staff that you're paying, and then it goes into overtime and all that, so just say, you know, like, we're here to help you Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5, but the doors do close, because it could be like a liability thing too. None of us can sit here all day.
Right.
And then you're stuck here by yourself, and we're like, if something happens, you know, but it's like 5:45 or whatever, and it's like they're still here, but I guarantee if you tell them, like, we'll be happy to see you, but
Well, what about just telling
You
her
can't.
that Violet's not doing that anymore?
She quit.
Violet quit.
Or Violet's not, she's not
You
doing.
made her quit.
It'll just go to somebody else, you guys.
Hey, if you call today and say
We
you
are
quit,
recording this, guys.
it's, we didn't say the name.
No names mentioned.
But hey, if we call her today and say you quit, we're not lying, cause it's April Fool's, so.
No, if you don't do it, somebody else is just
Yeah.
gonna suck on somebody else.
Well, we do have an organizational value to care for our employees, so it is getting to a ridiculous point. So
Send a
we're gonna have
thank you note
to
back to
figure.
Alicia.
I will.
Violet's been promoted, she doesn't do that anymore.
That's right.
Yeah, true, she's just not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
Another,
knock that out.
go, and this is kind of going down a rabbit trail, but in this circumstance, it could be, communicated to her that those type of adjustments we do in the morning,
Yeah.
or something.
Well, we've been scheduling
where
that stuff.
we've had to restructure our day, because we're so busy at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
And it's done by whoever
She'll
is
suck the
available,
life out of
not
Kamala.
just one person.
It's just an option to see if that changes the vibe.
Right.
Cause how many times, I mean, she's been in a dozen times, right? At
At
least.
least.
She's even after
At
lunch,
least.
waiting for Violet.
Yeah, she won't let anybody, I've never helped her.
You haven't?
Yeah, she'll sit there and wait, like they'll tell her
She's
I'm
very
not
sweet.
here, and she'll
Or
sit
what
there
time
and wait.
will Violet be here?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter
Or
what
she'll
time of
call
day
ahead.
she'll be here, yeah.
She took a leave of absence.
Well, even when you have these problems on the second bullet point, if you're lonely, if life has treated you badly, if there's something not going, something a little bit off, that still gets balanced. I mean, we've given that opportunity. It's getting out of balance. So I'll talk with the managers and Kristen tomorrow about how to get that one moving on. Do you guys have any other examples? Since my example of where we make an exception failed, maybe we can think of a weird situation that we worked through that was not against organizational values. I was gonna plant a couple seeds with people to bring up a couple stuff, but then I got busy and didn't do it.
That was not against our values?
Well, the way that
Or
we
that was
determine
against?
if a customer request is appropriate is whether it aligns with our organizational values or not. So sometimes a customer may request something that's outside of normal range, and we might grant it to say, well, I see your reasoning. We can make this accommodation.
Like if a patient asks for their old contact lens brand, as opposed to what the doctor
Full
finalized.
prescription, yeah.
Right, we do that periodically.
Yeah, I think that's a good example. We may try, I mean, I've really been pushing the dailies. I've been putting more people in dailies. And I say, try it. I'm not gonna finalize that RX, but if you end up going back to the old one, staff is pretty acute at getting those things knocked out. Sometimes a patient may, we had a patient in today, he wanted images of the Optos and the OCT. We don't normally do that, but he had a thumb drive in his car. So, I mean, it took more life out of her,
Right.
but it's a one-time thing. And that patient has been very supportive of what we do. I mean, he loves the technology. He's just relishing in the technology, and he's like, I want it, more data. You know, he's a computer programmer, so he's like, data. And I buy that. It's like, okay, we've got this. It's a little bit of extra work. I'd like to think that we have all these staff members so we have the ability to knock it out. So.
But that could be that scenario, we can do it, but we can't do it right now for you.
Yeah. Well, and I agree with that.
You
He didn't
know?
ask for it right now. I asked for it right then, and it might be my day. Or were you busy then? Was that a problem doing
No,
anything?
I was in between something, but the Optos wasn't reading the pictures correctly, so I could only do 2 images there, then I had to go into another computer and the OCT, so it took longer than it should have, but I haven't had
She made
that
it.
problem before, yeah, but he got them.
Well, I guess in that case you try to do it, and if you can't do it at that time, then you tell him we'll do it
Right.
later. If he ordered glasses, he would have had to pick them up anyway.
Yeah.
So we grabbed these points of customer service, communication, consistency, cooperation, and commitment to excellence. I had told you guys that I was going to review what I summarized these for us. Okay, so in summary, communication is expressing needs, expectations, and purpose. It is achieved by both parties listening, being transparent while maintaining good eye contact. To ensure that a message is clear, you should ask questions. You should not be in a hurry. You should work to truly understand the need. Be honest and upfront. Continue to communicate with your fellow employees by maintaining good notes in your patient record. Opticians or front desk people can do that in the notes section. To ensure good communication, you should not rush or presume. Okay, consistency is, okay, input shaped by values equals predictable outcomes. So basically, if you keep inputting the same stuff because you got the same values, the outcome with all these different patients and all these different lenses and all these different things coming at us should be approximately the same. When customers' needs vary or are inconsistent with our values, we will constantly make appropriate conclusions. We will accomplish this by being patient, organized, kind, and aware of who we are. Okay. To ensure it, we shouldn't cut corners or be overwhelmed. Okay. In summary, cooperation is working together to provide excellent products and services. So working together. This will make customers happy and feel good. They will come back and share their experiences. To do this, we need product and policy knowledge, ability to adapt. We will enjoy our jobs more and make customers feel comfortable because we know what we are doing and we care enough to do it. I would say, and we have our fellow employees at our back. Even if we have the owners at our back so that one employee is not necessarily being taken care of, or we have the managers at the back to back you guys up. So do it with a smile when you're cooperating. You know, fake it till you make it. If you don't feel good, the smile will help you to keep feeling better. To ensure cooperation, we should not arrive late to work. We should not allow personal issues to follow us. I mean, if we got issues, this is a safe place. You should try to share it, knock it out, see what we can do, and move on. But I certainly don't think it should make us grouchy. Okay, and then finally, commitment to excellence is putting your organization's values and goals above your own agenda. This is accomplished by making sure that the customer is heard, using active listening skills and responding with a quality response. It is important because it shows self-respect and competence. If we do not get it right, the customer may go elsewhere. So to ensure commitment to excellence, we should not be apathetic. We should not let our emotions cloud our view. We should not do sloppy work. Okay, some examples of good customer service. You guys came up with these. AT&T, I added Jimmy John's. AT&T was on here. But, because I don't go into AT&T, but when I walk into Jimmy John's, in and out, it's always a big hello. It makes you feel good. So I think at AT&T, they may actually know your name. I don't know if you've made an appointment or called ahead, but they greet you coming in and out is what I read. Disney creates an experience like none other. Kristen's example on that was that some kids cut in line when they had the kids cut in line, I don't even know if it was kids, but like 10 people cut in line. And the people around them all got upset and they told the attendants. So they made everybody happy by giving FastPass vouchers to everybody that got cut in line, and they let the other people stay in line. Well, by the time Kristen's group came back with the FastPass vouchers, they got on the ride. They came back like 45 minutes later, and they got on the ride just before the people that cut in line. So, I mean, this is where they've practiced that kind of stuff. And I would say that was by chance, except it's Disney, and Disney has the experience down to a T. I loved this statement from Brittany because it's what I've struggled with on the customer service front, is that the customer's not always right, but we let them be wrong with dignity. I mean, so yeah, we'll let you be wrong, and I just can't say that. I can't say the customer's always right. They're not always right. But what do you do about it? How do you work with it? You treat them well, you stick to your values, you try to bring them alongside. If they can't come alongside, you might have to prune them. Okay, so now I'm going to have you guys write that's the summary of what we did last time in groups. Now I'm going to have you guys write a summary of a summary, and then we'll be done. But then we're going to put that into a workable definition as to what customer service is. So we'll pull a number as in a group. We'll group up. I like to group up randomly, just because it forces different people to work together, and actually I think that's good. I mean, there may be people that you feel more or less comfortable with, interact more or less throughout the day. We'll get a succinct definition, each of you guys, and then I'll combine the 4 succinct definitions, and we'll review that in our next session. Okay? Maybe I'll have a little time to review that next session, because we're planning on having Dr. Beck talk about vision therapy, what it is, what it does, how to diagnose it, how to manage it through their process.
So I printed sheets for everybody, but just like last time, we're gonna break into groups and just have one person write.